guys, welcome back to the channel as always. Today we are going to be reacting to RM's new album, Indigo. I've reacted to both the music videos released so far, Wildflower and Still Life. If you'd like to check those out, they will be up in the cards. I'm so excited to listen to this album, like honestly, because Wildflower in particular has had an absolute chokehold on me the last week since I reacted to it, and it is currently my number 3 most listened to song on Spotify. Guess who my favorite artist is? In case you're ever wondering if I actually like the music that I react to, I can assure you that I genuinely do. And also before we start, pause warning. I do pause because I like to both listen to and understand the music that I react to. So if that isn't your thing, then this may not be the video for you. Without further ado, we are going to get straight into the album. Track number 1, Yoon featuring erykah, Badu. Sample.
인간의 이제 그 본질인데 신선미, 진실하다는 진짜하고 착한 선자하고 아름다운 미하고 근데 내 생각에는 진 하나만 가지면 다 해결되는 거야.
Fuck the trendsetter, I'ma turn back the time far to when I was 9. 좋은 것과 아닌 것밖에 없던 그때 차라리 그때가 더 인간이었던 듯해 이쪽 저쪽에서 받았던 손가락질 내 나의 자리는 경계선의 파이프라인 여전히 난 허락되지 않는 꿈을 꿔 아무도 보지 않는 춤을 춰.
Okay, so first, before we get into the chorus, in this first verse, it definitely seems like he's talking about, obviously he says, like, turn back time to when I was 9, back when I think I was more of a human. That's a very powerful sentiment, but I think a lot of people feel something similar, and that, like, obviously when you're a child, like he says, everything is good or bad, everything's very black and white. If you have dreams, like, you absolutely 100% believe that you can achieve them, and that they'll be exactly what you envision them to be. But obviously now, like seeing from like Wildflower, he's kind of become disillusioned with what he thought his dream was or what it actually turned out to be, you know, fame, success, like the actual reality of what being a successful artist is. I think definitely in the sample and in the verse he's saying that he has to seek this truth of like human existence that say that it is human essence to seek, to more reconnect with who he wanted to be when he was younger, to reach that like pure sense of being an artist. And I obviously caught the you're nothing without a team, why would you veer onto a trail from the highway, saying like you rose to fame with this group and you're all like going your separate ways, just briefly, obviously temporarily. Like why would you go off the path that has taken you so far? But for a true artist, obviously he's saying like I have to do this to regain my passion for my art. It's not just about like the highway going as fast as possible, churning out music. It has to be about the music itself. At least that's what I think he's saying, and I really like that sentiment. But yeah, okay, we are going to go into the chorus.
아무도 보지 않는 춤을 춰.
You keep the silence.
She has such a unique voice.
Yeah, yeah. You be a human.
Be a human to the death of you.
I wanna be a human before I do some art. It's a cruel world, but this won't be my part. Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness. 그는 말했지만 먼저 사람이 되라 예술할 생각 말고 놀아 느껴 he know it. What it did with the techniques, what it did with the skills, what it did with all the words in your lyrics that you can feel. 나 단순히 말한 진리가 뭔지 몰라 다만 그저 찾아가는 예우인 뿌린 그 위에 실을 쓴 내 사선을 오갔던 생과 단순히 마침내 이 땅에 남긴 것들에게 나 역시 그저 좀 더 나은 어른이게.
Keep the silence.
Okay, again, I'm gonna go back so I can really like experience the flow into the chorus. Like, don't worry, but I just really want to talk about the lyrics. And I just love how like focused on personal growth this album seems to be so far from the songs that I've heard so far. Like saying, I want to be a human before I do some art. I think that's kind of what I was saying, kind of what I dissected before, saying like, you have to find yourself as a human being before you can create true art. because, you know, like that human spark is what's behind art and what makes art art. If you're just making it for the sake of making it and meeting deadlines, like he says, like that's not what he wants to do. It's interesting, the verse, it says, he always said, be human first. I'm not quite sure who he is, but again, be human first kind of plays on that, well, you have to be human first to create art, otherwise, like, what are you even doing?
Keep the silence, or you do something now.
Cause true beauty is a true sadness. Now you can feel my madness.
내가 죽기까지 못할 거야. 그렇게 하고 싶은데 안 돼. 그러려면 욕심도 다 버리고 모든 욕심 다 버려야 천진무구한 세계로 들어가야지. 그건 나는 그렇게 하고 싶은데 왜 안 되는 거예요. 근데 죽을 때까지 그렇게 해보려고 노력을 해야지. 그게 인간의 목적인 것 같아.
Interesting. Maybe, because I hear that sample. Maybe that sample, the person talking, is the he that RM is referring to in the lyrics. I'm not sure, because that line where he referred to the he sounds very similar to what's in the sample. I think I said just about all I wanted to say about the lyrics kind of like during that reaction, but the one lyric that I wanted to say something about that I think I missed was like, now you feel my madness. And I think he's kind of saying, like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but it's just saying, like, now you understand what I've been going through these last few years. Because I think my favorite BTS song that I've heard so far, and one of my favorite songs ever, actually, is Black Swan, which I think is kind of talking back then about something they were going through and something that they continue to go through and why they're taking this break. Is obviously like burnout and losing passion and inspiration. And he's saying, like, now I can express that all of these feelings in this whole album and really express what I've been going through as an artist in this group the last few years. And I really love that he decided to do this, because this is a lot of vulnerability to come from someone like as big as he is. But at the same time, he's just a person. Like, just because they are as famous as they are doesn't make them anything other than just people who have an immense amount of pressure on their shoulders. And obviously being the leader of such a massive group and having to make music comeback after comeback that lives up to their past work and is constantly improving is just that's a lot to put on one person's shoulders. Yeah, since I have already heard Still Life because I reacted to it, again, it'll be up in the cards, we are going to move on to All Day.
Okay. 요즘 광고는 똑같아. 일단은 즐겨라 내 맘대로. 멋진 옷을 입은 멋진 춤추는 이들 밖은 몸치가 더 많네. 그저 습관이든 I don't care. 알지 그런 놈들이 더 두께요. 사실 몸은 아무것도 아니야. 막 믿어무지 그래 내가 날 모르는. 꺼져 인공지능 fuck the algorithm. 사색이 필요해 fuck all the rhythm. 사유한수가 안 주는 내 바이오리듬. 언제쯤 써보게 될까 나만의 신은. 살아남느라 잊혀진 dream에 너도 한낱쯤 별이 돼버린 묻혀진 뭔가 찾고 있다면 honey it tastes like me. Okay.
Okay.
Take it all day.
Finding the real me. So conceptually integrated, this album.
All day.
They got you by your balls and your social economics, that's big facts. 특색을 밟아버린 think tanks. 식어버린 게내 impact. 더 건부러집혀 네 인생은 big match. Burn it up, 뭘 겁이 나. Get your ass off the bench, start warming up. We gotta fight when they say behave. I'ma be okay, I'ma be that way.
Dynamite in her DNA.
Haters 어서 눈 감아 내 인생 꼴 보기 싫으면 원래 꿈 같은 일에 눈 뜨고 보기 힘들어. You feel me?
I like his voice.
I'm fighting all day.
잔인할 수
Okay, I want to pause and talk about the lyrics before this ends. I just kind of got like swept away in it. It was so like bouncy. Even in like a groovy upbeat track like this, like these lyrics are still like pure poetry. Like even the translation, like honestly, I admire him so much as an artist and as a lyricist because like just artists like him make me want to understand so badly because like I can read translations all day, but like not being able to hear his words in his own like native language, like it kind of like hurts me a little because I know that he's so good and he's even good translated that I just like I wanna know. And I can read and write Korean. I know basic Korean, but obviously I'm years of study away from being able to understand his words like in the depth that he wrote them in. Anyway, personal tangent, but I figure you guys understand like how much I appreciate his artistry. This song definitely seems like a kind of like almost like a bit of a like it's very vibey, but it's almost kind of like a rallying call, I guess, to just, you know, like stay aware of the things around you that want you to not be aware. Does that make sense? Because obviously like, you know, like RM and BTS like have a history of speaking up on things that are not necessarily things that people want them to speak up on. Like obviously I've seen Spring Day, I reacted to it and the explanation. If you want to see me cry, you can watch that video. Like they've definitely taken risks in their artistry to bring attention to things that should be looked at and questioned, for sure, just in society and in government and all those kinds of things. And that seems like the vibe of this song, like what he's saying. Yeah, that's about all I want to say, and we are gonna continue. I'm gonna go back to the live.
잔인한 세상에 오늘을 비우는 것 같을까 세상이 뭐라고 말해도 우리나라 어른아 You gotta believe it You gotta believe it You gotta believe it You gotta be dreaming You gotta believe it You gotta be feeling We know we fly all day.
Oh, that's such a smooth little outro, and I like because I talked about like the negatives of that, but I like that in the outro they're kind of like, yeah, you stay aware of all of it, but also not let it bring you down. Still have to rise above everything that happens. Like you gotta feel it, but you gotta keep flying. Also, he said fuck the algorithm, and I very much agree with that. And yeah, I think I said just about everything about this song I wanted to in my long break there in the middle. So you're gonna get right into the next track, which is Forgetful.
1, 2.
These tracks are so short.
어제 일을 착고해줘 난 오늘도 잘 모르는데
Guitar. Interesting.
어제 나를 착고해줘 나 고작 26인데 Yeah, yeah. 왜 기억하질 못하냐 해요
Ooh, okay, wait. Sorry to pause already, but 26? Isn't he older than that? Oh, okay, so he's 28. So he actually obviously he must have been working on this song and this album for years. That makes a lot of sense though, based on like what he's talked about like going through the last couple of years with like artistry and stuff. Makes a lot of sense.
왜 기억하질 못하냐 해요 내 친구들 서운해해요 미안해 생각이 참 많아요 내 메모리가 모자라요 수많은 가시들과 오고야마는 아침과 각자의 방식들로
He's definitely singing in this
스스로
song.
마취해가요 yeah, yeah.
어차피 다 시간 문제예요 너도 그게 필요할걸요 yeah. 어릴 적 풀냄새 기억나요 꽤나 새삼스러울걸요
수많은 가시들과 오고야마는 아침과 각자의 방식들로 스스로 마취해가요 yeah. 나는
I love the singing together. That was definitely a more like slower, like melancholy track. It almost felt like as like carefree and kind of like upbeat as it felt. The lyrics seem very, very dark, like almost like talking about forgetting like seemingly very important things, like his friends being sad. It's like he can't keep up with everything that's going on, but not in a in a panicky way, and kind of like numb to it at a certain point. I don't know if I'm expressing this right, but it kind of feels like while at first, if you're really like going through something, either you're really busy or you may be suffering from depression, or they're kind of like mental issues. Like there's this point at which you're like, oh my god, like I have to keep up with my career, my work, like I gotta see my friends, like I need to also like stop and relax sometimes, maybe go outside. And you're like scrambling to do all these things when you kind of like maybe don't have time, or maybe have the motivation. But at this point, this song feels like almost like you're just in like a trance, like a daze of just like going through the motions, and you kind of forget that you're even supposed to be doing these things. Like it's been a while and you haven't seen your friends, and you're very consumed in your day-to-day life, and you don't stop to do the things that you value doing, but you almost kind of forget that you should be doing them. I don't know, maybe because I'm someone who struggles with those kinds of things myself, that kind of like numb state of just living with forgetting things is kind of almost scarier than being in full panic mode about it. Again, I could be reaching, and like this could not be what the song is about at all, but that is my interpretation. And we are going to get straight into the next track, which is Closer. Interesting.
I feel it most of the night time, yeah. Me never on your timeline, yeah. See you always in the limelight, keep me rolling in the day, yeah. I keep you right next to me, only just in my dream. I see you in right the grind, don't wake me up from sleep. I think I'm losing my grip, everything of the pain. Why you showed up in my life like this? You sudden, oh God, no.
If I could be under your skin, closer than we've ever been. Maybe closer than we've ever been.
Interesting. Okay, I think I'm gonna approach this one kind of from the lens of looking at it as a song about a romantic relationship. Again, like, this is just my interpretation, kind of how I'm framing it in my mind. But the chorus kind of seems like when you don't spend enough time with someone and you don't get to see them as much as you would want to, or maybe as much as they want to for whatever reason. Obviously, if you're someone who's very busy and very well known, very famous, you don't have a lot of time for things like relationships, like even platonic friendships. Like, it can be very hard to give people the time that you would want to give them. So even when you are closer to someone than you've ever been, when you finally do get that time with them, even when you are just able to be together, sometimes you still might feel far away from them because you feel like even though we're together now, like it's not enough, or you still feel that distance that was between you for so long when you weren't able to see that person even when you're closer than you've ever been. Because I mean, I'm sure that at this point, you know, like most of the members of BTS are nearing 30. I'm sure they've been in relationships. As far as I know, none of them have been in any public relationships. So you also have that level of having to keep that relationship a secret, which also limits the amount of time that you're able to spend with someone, the things that you're able to do. You can't have a normal relationship the way that other people do, and that can definitely put a strain on your relationship. Again, just my interpretation.
Lots
of features on this album.
But the time won't stop when you and I make our lips lock, baby. And once again you meet me this place, my pride, baby. Oh, trust me. Promise myself never. But you got me doing the same thing all over again.
I love the flow of his words.
How about I show you how I get down, baby girl? Come on, come on and
Please leave your message after the beep.
if love ain't for us,
Interesting.
이걸로만 좋아할게. I don't need your touch. 너의 사랑이 필요한데. Yeah, if that's all we can do, yeah, just looking at you. Let's go, be the day, don't stay where you are. Stay where you are.
I really love the way that he is using features on this album, because of all the songs I've heard, obviously like over half the album, it seems like definitely he has a vision of exactly what he wants the track to sound like. You know, like as far as I can tell, he also writes all of the parts of the songs, even the ones he has other people sing. That may not be true for all the songs. Again, like let me know if I'm wrong about that. But it seems like for most of them, he does write the words himself and then brings other people in to sing to kind of fulfill his like vision for like the sonic, like the sound of the song, which I think is really cool. Really shows that he definitely has a vision for what he wants every track to sound like, and is able to pick out the specific person that would make it, would realize his vision. We're going to move into the next track. This Change Part 2, and this is just RM himself. Like I said, I really like what he's been doing with features, because technically I do kind of get scared when I see an album with a lot of features, because sometimes it can dilute the artist that is actually having the album, because having so many perspectives and voices on the album can kind of make it less personal, but that is definitely not the case with this album. And like I said, like the way he uses the features, the way that he writes for them to enhance the song instead of just bringing someone on like just to have a feature, two very different things, and he's definitely doing features right on this album for sure.
Things change, people change, everything change. Yeah.
This is a change.
People change, everything change.
Fascinating observation.
Love change, friends change, everyone change. Yeah, it is no strange. That's the world shape. Yeah, I can't believe I loved you once. Fool me once, then fool me twice. Shame on you, yeah, shame on me. Think I lost.
Sound is like putting me on edge.
Chemistry we had for sure. Gradually we wanted more. They say you can't fix someone. Films you got, one fits you right. Fuck my interviews and years ago. I'm all different, not that anymore. Fuck that week, you fuck all those foes. What is stranger, I don't know this for.
Ooh, okay, I really want to talk about these lyrics. I like how this is an interlude and I'm still like, I have to dissect it. I've always wondered about about famous people, about what they think of the way that the world perceives them. Because obviously when you are a public figure, like anyone who entertains people, like you put a certain version of yourself out there, like on the internet, on TV, in your music, and people form their opinions of you based on what they see. And sometimes what they see could be one video, could be one song, one interview, and they have this completely skewed version of yourself. And I imagine it's very difficult to reconcile the fact that so many people think they know you, but in reality, like, almost nobody does, kind of. Because it's very hard to put the full nuance of yourself out there for everyone to see. Not only is it difficult to do just on a practical level to convey, but it's very hard to bare your soul like that, to even want all of these people to know the real you. It seems like he's definitely talking about that, saying like he's not the same person he was in interviews from years ago, in like wiki entries, like Wikipedia entries, like he doesn't, like, I don't know this fool, like who is he? I'm not him anymore. It's true, because like some people may have seen a video from you from like 8 years ago and they think they know who you are, but like you've changed and grown so much as a person, but you know, that info is still out there and some people will stumble across it and think that's still you. The instrumental is almost like making me like, giving me anxiety, like putting me on edge, and obviously he's also like talking very aggressively, he's very like angry and kind of like bitter about like the state of things, and having this, obviously he's talking about losing someone, he's talking about not being perceived in the way that he feels he now exists to be. Like, the entire world thinks they know him, but he's like, I'm not that person anymore, like, that you think I am. So obviously there's a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness that he's definitely conveying. It's like... And then it changes. Right as I say that.
Yeah. Someday the great grief will take off you. Yeah. And then you're not tall. You can't love someone like I do. That's all I can say to you.
I feel like there's a lot to that I don't understand, but it definitely feels like he's just venting his frustrations with a lot of things going on in his life. Maybe in the past, I'm not quite sure when he wrote this. I do know that one song, Forgetful, seems like he wrote years ago, so this could be a collection of like moments from his life over the last like few years. That one was really interesting sonically. I enjoyed that one. I'm definitely gonna have to come back to that one. Yeah, we're gonna go straight into Lonely, which is also another solo track.
I'm fucking lonely.
Same.
나 혼자서만 So fucking lonely. Somebody call me. 잘나는 영화 속에서 담겨졌어. 싫어 이 호텔 룸에 혼자 떴어. 시끄러운 경적 소리 좁아진 방에 눈빛만큼 나 내게 갇혔어. I tried a million times to let you go. So many memories are on the floor. And now I hate the cities I don't belong. Just wanna go back home. 내일 아침과의 rendezvous. 빨갛게 돌아가는 날 몰라. I tried a million stars to let you know. So many trivial thoughts are on the floor. And now I hate the buildings I don't even know. Just wanna go back home.
Okay, I want to talk about these lyrics real quick. Shocker. This one is definitely very angsty, kind of like going along the same like kind of ranty style as the last one. But I love that. I'm a former emo kid, so anything, you know, bordering on angst, I am all over. Former emo kid, please. I think I wear black in every single video. Definitely touching on how the life of someone as famous as he is, like a performer like him who's always all over the place, is it's a very lonely life. And I mean, like he says, like YouTube and Netflix all day. I mean, I do that, but you know, I'm not really flying all around the world doing it in hotel rooms, that's for sure. And obviously some people glamorize that whole lifestyle. I think when you're actually in that position as to where you're always moving, you kind of just, you want, like he says, you just want to go back home. You hate all these strange buildings you're in, all these places you don't want to be in. You would rather just be home. And again, it definitely seems like he's touching on heartbreak. Obviously, I know nothing about his personal life, and I don't particularly feel the need to know, just observing what he's sharing. But he's definitely went through something that had a, obviously, like I said, very angsty song.
Go back home. I'm fucking lonely. 나 혼자서만
Yeah, I really like the sound of that one. I think I said just about everything I wanted to say about the lyrics during it, but it's definitely being very, very vulnerable and very open in this album. And again, I absolutely love that. This is it's always a privilege to be let into someone's life, like to this extent, like through their music and through their artistry. Is just yeah, it's something that I absolutely love. I love being able to like pick apart like things that people like mean, things that they're feeling, and I love finding pieces of myself in music, because even people who are, you know, as huge as he is, like still feel a lot of things that, I mean, he's human. Like, we all feel the same things. Very few things that you go through are, like, quote-unquote original. And we're all a lot more alike than we think that we are. And we definitely have a lot more in common. And I think it's just really cool to be able to connect with someone who seems so far away, but in reality, it's just, I mean, he's just a person. Like I've said before, doesn't matter how famous you are, you're still human. We're gonna go to the next one, which is called Hectic.
Yesterday was a hard day. There was nothing romantic. If I can just find a reason to keep this endless chasing. Yesterday was a hard day. There was nothing romantic.
Definitely see how his life is hectic, that's for sure.
할 말이 없는 사람들에 돌고 도는 liquid talks 하루 더 죽어가는 느낌 밤에 어울린 빅대로 영영한 불빛 난폭한 택시 이젠 지겨워 이제 난 people hate the reason Left point in this line How should we do this guy Keep on thinking and I 더 이상 길을 잃고 싶지 않은 날 좀 구해줘 Make the people talking same shit Hate the reason Got the outspit There was nothing romantic
Interesting. Definitely seems like kind of slightly similar themes to the last song in that he talks about being tired of the always moving and always going to different places, like the life of fame, like all of the people and things you have to do, and kind of the nature of all of it. Saying like every day is kind of just like hectic and busy and rushing, and there's nothing romantic about it. About the life that he's leading, maybe, about fame. That could be what he's saying. Again, I could just be like reading way too deep into this, but I kind of do that with everything, so.
If I can just find a reason to keep this endless chasing Yo, hangover's over 관능적인 이 도시의 posture 슬픈 밤 서울을 위한 nocturne 우린 알면서 또 하루를 놓쳐 에이, 행복이란 뭘까 그토록 바래왔던 작은 평화 마음이 빛바랜 자들을 떠나 마침내 우리가 수놓은 별밤 꿈을 꾸듯 눈을 감아 지그시 숨을 참아 숨을 추는 사람들의 걸음은 곡선으로 oh, yeah. 흘러가는 걸 붙잡을 수는 없대도 We still love and hate the city, yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Definitely the vibe sonically of the song kind of reminds me of like a bustling, hectic, like very large city at night where there's like all these people like going about whatever it is that they're doing, and there's lights and there's traffic and there's noise, but maybe you're just in the middle of it, just kind of looking at all of it like, what's the point? Like, is this any of this what I want? Is any of this like really the point of life? It's all just hectic for no reason, maybe. And that kind of disillusionment with fame and bustle and all of the people that he's surrounded by. And I really applaud him for going this deep into how disillusioned he is with fame, because it's not an easy thing to talk about, because a lot of people will just say like, oh, this is what you wanted, this is what you asked for, like you're successful, like why are you not grateful for it, I guess. And some fans also may not take it the right way necessarily, like saying, oh, you don't like traveling to like meet and tour and stuff, and it's like, I'm sure there's good and bad to everything, and obviously at the point that he's making this album, the headspace that he's in, it's all just very overwhelming to him and maybe not what it used to be, and he has to take this time to find a reason to keep going, keep chasing whatever it is that he was originally chasing. So this is definitely a glimpse into a very dark period of his life, but you can definitely tell in other songs that he's saying like, I'm taking this time, I'm working towards moving forward and finding that spark inside of me again as an artist to be motivated to deal with all of this again and find it worth it, I guess. And that is a really cool thing to express as an artist. Obviously the next track is Wildflower, and I've already heard that. I have my reaction to it on my channel if you would like to go watch that. But after that, we are going to go into what I believe is the last track, which is number 2. And go.
그대 여전은 뒤돌아보지 마. 그 많은 파도 다 지난 뒤에 우수한 만일이 널 괴롭혀도 이젠 네가 널 지켜줄 거야.
그대여 더는 뒤돌아보지 마. 어느 길이 더 낯이 없을까. 그래 넌 그리 특별하지 않아. 이제 네 말에 울지 않아. I smile that I ain't gotta prove myself, that I ain't the one, that I ain't the shit. 그저 희정이 고프던 어린 아이, 이제 너 위정이 더 잘 어울릴 말. 최선을 넌 다할 뿐이야.
Okay, I really want to talk about these lyrics. Obviously, this being the closing song on the album, we're definitely going to get... Usually on closing songs, you get a lot of reflection, a lot of self-examination, usually a more hopeful tone. Obviously, there's been a lot of, like, self-reflection on this whole album, which is kind of the weaving thread through all of the songs. Like how he says, I smile that I ain't gotta prove myself, that I ain't the one, that I ain't the shit. Just saying like I don't have to, I just want to focus on myself, and I am happy to realize that I don't have to prove anything, that I don't have to be like this cool famous person. I can just be myself and do my art and be true to myself, and that can be enough. Yeah, okay. Yeah, again, I really love the message of this song. Similar themes, but more hopeful.
So no looking back, no looking back, no looking back, don't look back no more. No looking back, no looking back. 이제 네가 널 지켜줄 거야.
Oh, I'm seeing that chorus in a new light now after the outro. Looking at the last chorus, saying, like, my love, don't look back anymore. After all of the waves that passed, even if countless things bother you, you'll protect yourself now. Definitely seems like he's talking to himself and saying, like, don't look back, like, you can't affect the past, like, everything that happened, and you've done your best. You did your best with the circumstances that you were in. Just don't look back, don't have regrets, just kind of move forward, because as much as everyone has regrets, it's good to not be down on yourself for the past, because at the end of the day, it's already happened. You can't do anything about it, and most likely you probably did do your best. You did the best that you were able to in these circumstances that you were in. This is actually a very, very sweet message to from him to himself, obviously. It goes on to say, behind the clearly mixed memories, these remaining lives stays like a bonus. It's like, obviously, between the clearly mixed memories is like, of course there was hardship, and obviously he's gone through a lot behind the scenes that maybe people weren't aware of, but there were also like a million positive memories along there. They were extremely happy days, but also there's bad behind that, but there's all of the memories are mixed. And I think he's saying like to see the remaining time that he has left and all of the things that he is going to do in the future as almost like a bonus, like a gift almost, like saying like, look at all this that you've already done and look at all these like great and not so great memories, but you still have all of this to go, like whole lives to live in the future as well. So don't look back, like you did your best. That's a really, really good note thematically to end the album on, that's for sure. I feel like I'm coming out of like a trance or something when I take my headphones off. Yeah, I definitely had high expectations for the album, but I really ended up enjoying it, and I'm definitely excited to like dive deeper into it and listen to it more in the future, because there's a lot in there that's hard to catch on first listen, and you know, like I'm trying to articulate my thoughts properly and but also feel the music at the same time. So I'm definitely really excited to revisit all the songs and like really get into what he meant to put into each song. And obviously I will be doing the magazine film just after this, so we'll get a little insight into the thoughts behind each song, because I really like, you know, like making my own interpretation and kind of like seeing what it means to me and what it feels like to me, and then also seeing the artist's original vision and seeing how much they overlap and how they don't. Because obviously like art, like you're kind of gonna read into art like whatever you want to, because we like to relate to like the music we listen to and the art we consume. We like to see pieces of ourselves in it, so you kind of take that and make it your own when you interpret it for yourself, and it's a really cool thing with music. But and then you also get to know what the artist themselves originally was thinking when they did it and what pieces of themselves they put into the song. But yeah, I think I have said just about everything I want to say for this album. I have talked so much, I need some water. If you would like to see more from me, you can go ahead and subscribe, watch some of my other BTS videos, and yeah, I think this is it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.